Hi, everybody. Welcome to the group. I waited a couple minutes to see if more would show up, and they did. That's good. I see some new faces and a lot of old faces. So I'm going to start right in. Where are you guys having problems? I know there are a lot. Evan, you can raise your hand. Bonnie, go ahead, Bonnie. You're on mute. There you go.
Uh, I get confused with what's the difference between all three when you hit AI. I can't tell the difference between when I read them. So I have to put in the heading, the file, the the stage, the date, and whether or not it was done in Bard or Chat GPT-4. I'm utterly confused.
When you're reading any of the page, let me back up. When you use a prompt, are you saying to just write the awareness page or just the consideration page or just the purchase page stage?
No, it's more than that. What is the awareness stage of the buyer's journey in brand identity, New York? With brackets.
And what's your topic?
Brand identity.
Sorry, you got cut off. What's that?
Brand identity.
Brand identity where?
New York.
Pardon me?
New York.
Okay. This should be what your first prompt is. If you look in chat, write an article for the awareness stage of the buyer's journey about brand identity in New York. If people are searching that term, then okay, that's a good term. If you investigated that and you know that people are searching, that's fine. If you have not investigated what people are searching, then that's the first step. You have to go back and do that. But if you got it and you know the term is correct, then the prompt that I just put in chat is just right. That will spit out one page for the awareness stage. So when you change to go, okay, now I want to do the consideration stage, you change the stage. So that's the only word that changes in that prompt. So now you know whatever AI you're using is going to spit out the article for the consideration stage. Does that make sense so far? When you save that page that it created, how are you saving it?
Well, unfortunately, with Chat GPT-4, I can't figure out, I forgot how you save it and then you copy it or copy it and save it. I can't figure out how to get rid of the lines. Bard, I just save it to Microsoft Word, both of them.
Okay, well, as long as you saved that, then that's fine. And for the third page, you would change consideration to purchase stage. So you need all three pages. And once you save them, as you're saving them awareness, consideration, purchase. So where does your conflict come after that?
When I read what the body copy is,
Okay,
I
so
can't.
you're looking while you're reading it, you're wondering, it doesn't seem like it's all that different. Then you put in another prompt once you've got your pages. See that prompt that's in there now?
Is this a good article
Yes.
for the awareness station? Oh, you add that to
And
the
you would
whole
change
thing.
that awareness stage name to the consideration when you're ready to do this consideration page, and then the purchase when you're ready to do the purchase page.
Article.
After the quote in New York on that second prompt, the prompt that is this a good article, you put a colon, and I've also sent you this in email, so you'll see that. Put a colon, space, and then paste the content of the article you want AI to review. Does that make sense?
Well, I have to try it. I don't
Copy
know
all
yet.
the content from the page it spit out,
Put that in.
shove it right back into AI and say, is that a good article? Kevin's done this a bunch of times after we've gone through all this. And it usually comes back and it says something like, yes, and here are some improvements. And the improvements are usually things that, yeah, but that's not a big deal, so I'm not going to worry about that. The main thing that you're looking for is, yes, that is a good article for that stage. So you do the same thing for the consideration stage. Is this a good article for the awareness stage of the buyer's journey about brand identity in New York? Colon, here's the article. Does anybody else have questions about just that part that I'm discussing with Bonnie? Because I know that this is not a simple task. It's one of those, you do it a couple of times with simple prompts and you realize it is actually easier than I've been making it. Sometimes we think too much and go, well, maybe I need to do this broader thing. Keep it simple. It's sales. Keep it simple, stupid. The KISS. And I have no problem hearing from Kevin because Kevin's done this a lot and I've been right with him when he's done it. So if you got something to add that helps people understand this, go ahead, spit it out.
Well, the only thing I can tell them is just the process I go through. You clarify the question that you're asking, make sure what you get back is exactly what you're looking for. But then I take it a step further. I download it to my word processing, which is, Microsoft Word. And then I run it through Microsoft Word's editor because you can't use 100% of it anyways, or you shouldn't. So I run it through the editor, change some verbiage here and there, and then I shove it right back into Bard or ChatGPT and ask it. I phrase my questions a little bit differently, but I ask it, hey, does the following article encompass, the awareness stage of the buyer's journey? So I'm forcing it to now evaluate exactly what it gave me. And of course, it comes back with yes. And like Thomas said, it gives you little hints as to how you can improve it. And you have to then figure out, are those improvements really going to make that big of a difference for the person that's reading it? In some cases, I do make some changes. In a lot of the cases, I don't, because it's trying to combine too much for the reader.
And one word that I caught you saying just a second ago is perfect for AI. Evaluate. And that's one of the things about AI is you're trying to keep it simple, yet you're trying to include all the stuff that you want and trying to make sure that you're using terminology that AI gets, oh, okay, I see you want this. So I would agree with anybody who thinks it is not that easy to come up with a prompt for AI. And Maury is, I'm sure, going, yep, you got that right. But the thing is, the prompt that I have written for the write an article about any of the stages seems to work really well. You can manipulate that, massage it a little bit. and see if you can get a better article out of it. I'm not saying that that one is the only one that you can use. But I'm saying if you're having a difficult time trying to figure out how to get it to spit out anything of value, start with the prompt that I am giving you. Then if you want to test and say, well, I'll change this word, or maybe I'll add that. If it makes it better, great, you've improved the prompt. If it gives you something where it's asking you questions, then you mess something up and the prompt is no good. But you need a baseline for your prompt. Any prompt, anything that you want AI to do, you need a baseline. Something that you know works. It may not work perfectly, it may not provide everything that you want, but it does work to provide something. Now it's just a matter of massaging that prompt so you get what you want. And the biggest thing is just feed it back into AI and ask it. Evaluate, which is a good word, Kevin. Thank you for that. Mine was just, is it good? Evaluate this article. Great. Somebody else has, when you set up awareness and consideration pages under your services tab, let's back that truck up. Candace, can you come online? If you don't have audio, not at the moment, okay. Candace, you are not trying to, and do not make a menu item that people can get to find these buyer's journey pages. Period. Enough said, done. You don't want anybody to get to those pages. The why is only because you have no idea what stage the people are in who are already in your site. Don't allow them to go to one of those pages. It could either set them back or push them into a stage that they are not ready for. The buyer's journey pages are designed very specifically for somebody who's asked a specific question about your business. And you're planning that will get that page that you created, the buyer's journey page, up to the top of the search engines. That's all you care about. You don't want anybody to be able to get to it from within your site. So don't link to the buyer's journey pages. And for anybody who hasn't already, let me see if I can find my little image, because I think that everybody needs to see this again. If you don't have it, I'm going to send it through as soon as I find it through all my maze. There we go. All right. Save this image. It will show you what you are supposed to do with your pages. And each of them links to the action page. I slowed way down for that because you can call it whatever you want, but it's where the where you're expecting people to take an action, whether it's call to contact you about, because you're not going to sell them a specific item from your site. Doesn't make any difference. You still need all three of those buyer's journey pages. So those 3 pages link to your page where you're telling them, here's the action I want you to take. Call, buy, both, whatever the action is. It could be several actions. That's on that one page. Here's the action I want my people to take who are thinking about contacting me or planning or whatever it is. I want you to take this action. Do this. That's your action page. Buyer's journey pages point to that page. Nothing points to the buyer's journey pages. And I had somebody ask a couple of weeks ago, well, so how do they get to the pages? They don't, except through the search engines. If the page is done properly, it comes up in the search engines because somebody asked the question that's in the page, in your buyer's journey page. So it's a match. Anybody not clear on that part right there? Because that's important. Candace, does that make more sense for you? I hope so. Okay, so then moving forward, Jody, you're I'm not sure where you are in this whole thing. Have you understood anything about the buyer journey pages or what? You gotta hit your mic.
I'm getting there. I think sometimes we get too caught up in the AI concept and then trying to, rethink the wheel when we already know what we want to teach. We're just trying to give clarity to understand how people can find us. And I think for me, I just get too muddled in the process of getting ready to implement it. Because,
Mhm.
there's one more thing I want to ask AI before I do my buyer's journey, my action page, there's
Yep.
just, I just want to tweak it just a little, right? So you overthink it, I think.
Yes, yes.
So I'm kind of
Kevin
overthinking
and
it.
Bonnie have done that very same thing. They've overthinking various things. And it's like, you can't, you have to go, just do this part. Don't try to think too much about that because you're going to start going, well, maybe if I did, don't do that. Follow the instruction first. If it doesn't spit out what you have or what you want, then change it. But don't arrange the prompt. The prompt is the most important part about AI. It's the most difficult part to figure out. For instance, if you were to ask it to do anything other than create the buyer's journey pages, I'd be going, I have no flip and flap an idea. Because AI wants this, they want that. They don't want to have this, they don't want to have that. And it's like, holy criminy. Figuring out the prompt is the most difficult part about using AI. So that's why I took that off the table for just the buyer's journey pages and said, use this prompt first. If you follow my prompt, and I spit out my own pages, I just haven't put them in my site yet.
See?
But yeah, like I have any time to do my stuff when I'm working on everybody else's. So the point is, follow along with that. I know it spits out good pages, the prompt that I wrote. And Kevin has done so much with it that he's figured out that his changes that he's done give him a better article. Okay, I'm not saying my articles are going to be perfect, but you can feed it back into AI using the prompt that I also put in here in the chat, which is this a good article? And as Kevin stated earlier, you can now say, evaluate this article for the awareness stage of the buyer's journey about brand identity in New York, or evaluate for the consideration stage, or evaluate for the purchase stage. Point being, you have all three of those pages. They point to your action page. Nothing points to the buyer journey pages. And brand, here's what I did, about brand identity for entrepreneurs. Start with an attention grabbing short hook. Well, JB Floyd, the point of the buyer's journey pages is not to grab somebody's attention, except Google's. And you're not going to get Google's attention by trying to attract people. Google is saying that they're looking for the buyer journey pages. So if you have the awareness stage is in general answering a question. People type in keyword terms in the search engine. You all with me on that? especially the newer people, what you type into the search engine, regardless of what you're trying to do, you can call it whatever you want, but that's considered a prompt because you're talking to another type of AI, the search engine. So what are you prompting the search engine to do? Whatever somebody types into the search engine, that's what you're targeting. And you want to target it for your business. So let me share this for a second. When you're targeting anything, whatever you write, here you can see that my prompt was Zoom meeting registration. I wanted information about that. I didn't ask what is the Zoom meeting registration information. I just wanted generic information. The point is, whatever somebody is searching is what you want to target. So you need to look it up. And it's and you get an answer, but you're looking for search results, which instead of getting the prompts up there, and of course, the 8 things that they tell you, that is so far off from anything that's going to help. I couldn't possibly say, please don't read that. It's about best I can say. And it's coming out of Harvard University.
Yes.
Never mind. So you'd scroll down to see what sites are showing up for these prompts. Anytime that you do a search, go down and look for related searches. And I know I've said this over and over again, but you've got to do this. How do I prompt AI? People are also asking AI prompt examples, AI prompt generator, AI prompt text generator, AI prompts. So all of these things are, Google's telling you, there are people who are searching these terms. Use them. So when you're writing an article for the awareness stage, you want to know that the title of your page is something that people are searching. If it's not, it's of no value. It's no longer a buyer's journey page. I want to stop there because I want to get back to JB and say, JB left. Okay.
No, JB's there.
Oh, there he is. Sorry. So JB, does that make sense?
Yes, I got it.
So you
That's the
can
short
make
answer.
well, you can make a prompt and write about whatever that you want, but that's not a buyer's journey page. A
I got you.
buyer's journey awareness page specifically is, what is somebody searching? I'm going to answer that question. So I am going to put that question they asked as the title of my awareness stage. Because that page is going to be all about the question that they asked or the statement relating to my business. So to look in the keyword planner, look at related searches, investigate the term you are considering before you use it, and see if people are searching that term. Also make your terms local. As a case in point, Jody, you would not put a term in that says limousine services in Oregon.
Right,
You're not in Oregon,
correct,
so that's not local.
right. The hard part for me, Tom, is we do encompass a larger area though than Shasta County. So Northern California could also include the Bay Area, which we serve, but not as much. So it's a little challenging because if I isolated just to Redding, we do a lot of business outside of the Redding area too. So to try to figure out adding Sacramento or, whatever, you know, into the search, but I don't want to mislead people into thinking we're based out of Sacramento either.
Let me give you an example of how you can target.
Okay.
Everybody's thinking about my area, and maybe I would just write one page or one set of buyer's journey pages in that one area, and then I'm stuck. It's like, well, yeah, but that's only, take that off the table. I have a new client who has international people coming to rent their places. So I'm already looking into creating the buyer's journey pages, translating them,
Oh,
and then putting them into Google for the area that people are coming from.
cool.
So you don't have to create just one set for Shasta County. And in the footer of your website, you should show the areas that you service. So every one of your pages will have a localized area. If you don't put anything about the counties where you do your business, where you service, then it's national. And that's too difficult for small businesses who have just 4 or 5, maybe 8 to 10 pages
Right.
to get up in the search engines when they have no authority because they're 400 pages back because they're still struggling to try to figure out how to get up there.
Right.
Now you've got some authority because you are up in Shasta and a couple other areas for specific terms. And you would then want other terms for the same areas
Oh,
or an area that you haven't mentioned in your site.
okay.
But if it's an area that you service, yes, you can say, I'm writing, you could have, now Maury's going to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we were saying you could have like 9 sets of buyer's journey pages. Oh, Maury had to go away. He probably got kicked off because he was in a coffee shop due to this weather. But I've got a foot of snow out here. He's got like 3 feet of snow up at his place in Canada. If you have 8 or 9 sets, each of them would be targeting a different term, different area. But they are still related. So the one set, whichever one set, would be about a term for the awareness page, the similar term for the consideration, and that's going to be dependent on what AI tells you this is a good title. But you need to research everything that people are searching. So for the consideration page, ask AI, what are people searching for the consideration page in this particular area about this particular term? So you want to get ideas and then look into the keyword planner, look at the search results when you use that specific term in Google, and scroll down to the related searches that tells you here's what people are searching related to what you just searched. So you want to check backwards and forwards so you know that people are searching whatever you're writing about.
Okay.
That's sinking in.
Yes.
So JB, do you get that you want a completely different title than something that's going to grab somebody's attention? It's the opposite. People are asking things in Google to find your business. You want to find those terms. Now you're going to take one of those terms and write about it and use AI to write a nice article about that particular term, and it comes up in the search engines. That's what Google's looking for, because then they see, this person is an expert in this field. So they start giving you authority to that. And that page reaches up to the local search. So when that page appears in local search results, you start getting the traffic. And that's the whole point of the buyer's journey pages.
I got you.
I think that's
You're
simple.
just talking to a 35-year sales veteran. that, you know, and
Good.
so, no,
Then-
I know enough. I know SEO, I know SEM, I know what to do. But sometimes when I'm thinking in terms of, you know.
Yep, yep.
So
And
I have to,
you're like most people with whatever their business is and their website. They know so much about their business that they're constantly overthinking what it is that they're going to do with these buyer's journey pages. And even as a sales professional, you're going, well, I know sales and I know people. Wait. This isn't for that.
right.
This is not, these buyer's journey pages are not trying to sell. Awareness stage is just providing information. Don't even think about telling them to buy now. Consideration, again, they're considering the various things that you've already provided to them, and they're thinking about whether they would buy. So again, you're not going to say buy now all over the place. That links to the purchase stage. If they are ready, they have the link and a button or something that's obvious that says consider or the purchase stage. So they can do it if they want to. They can go to that stage. If they are, they're going to your event page, your action page, where they take whatever action you're telling them to take. If you walk them through awareness, consideration, purchase stage, then they're ready. But if they come to your site, and this is why Google's doing this, most sites, when you go to whatever page, immediately you get barraged with buy now, buy my stuff. Here's a drop-in, here's a pop-up, and buy this. But wait, I'm not even there yet. I'm trying to get information. Those
Right.
pages, those
Going for the jugular.
sorry, what was that?
They're going for the jugular right off.
Well, yeah. And that's why Google is saying, forget it. We're not going to have those pages in the search results anymore.
Good.
The buyer's journey is what we're looking for. So you're doing what Google is asking you to do, which is create the buyer journey, create a situation that allows people to gather information so they can make an informed decision about whether they're going to buy and what they're going to buy. They might get to the consideration stage in your stuff and go, yeah, maybe I don't need this though. Okay, let them do that. But don't start hammering them on the consideration page. You know, if somebody's mouse starts going up for the close, don't send up something that's going to say, wait a minute, don't leave, buy this stuff instead.
Right. But wait, there's more.
Yeah.
It just ticks people off. So treat people
So-
like you want to be treated with your site and with your information, because you don't want to be spoon-fed something and forced into a buying decision. So why would
That's
you
right.
do somebody else? If your product stands on its own and they identify with you, they will buy from you.
And that's where Google is, and we are as people. Whether you're in a marketing profession or a sales profession, those people are more likely, just like JB was honest enough to say, I'm ready to go for the jugular. I'm trying to say, I want their attention. Yes, but buyer's journey is calm down. We just want to give information to people because they're not getting it when they search and get search results in Google. They're getting these pages that slap them upside the head. And they leave and they come back and they find another one. They go to that page and they get that one done. Those pages are going to be moved out of those top positions eventually.
I have a question, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Do you feel that it matters whether you use your own, let's just say your website that you have for eons? Or would it be better to set up more of a blog type informational and then let the offer right over to your lead page, I guess the best way. I'm using that term loosely, but you know.
Action page. We used to call it a landing page, but that was so confusing. That was just like, no, we need to be more specific about what is the page that we're directing people to. It's the action page. What action are they going to take?
Yeah, the old CTA, yeah.
Now you're asking And yes, it needs to have a call to action on each of the pages. But you're asking, can you just make your own pages do the same thing?
I mean,
No, and
you could
here's,
set up a blog. You could set up a blog page, right? And you could have all that information. I mean, everything. Or would it be better just to have like if you set up a blog with what people are looking for, such as a blog about brand identity in New York, and you could fill that with very strong, useful information, and then have your, CTA at the buyer stage, right? Is that what I'm reading, or would it be better to keep it all on your own website? Because I'm thinking in my mind, I'm thinking not just for me, but I'm thinking for my clients. Because I don't like getting involved in websites. I find that I'd rather outsource that. I don't really want to mess with somebody's website. What I would prefer is to, build the local identity for an HVAC local guy, right? And you're doing exactly this: awareness, consideration, buyer, and just, on each of one of the little tedious points that people are looking for, and that's what I envision, but I could be totally wrong. I don't know.
well, you're creating a convoluted situation. And what you're asking is do away with the buyer's journey pages and just have it be a blog or some other page. Here's the bottom line. As long as you have the 3 stages, you can call them whatever you want. If it's in a blog and you have done the stages correctly, so they can't get to stage 3 until they go through stage 2, then you could do it that way. But that's going to be a nightmare for you to figure out how to stop somebody from getting to these pages if they are linked within your site, some other site, or whatever. It doesn't make any difference. That's why if you look at the image that I sent across to everybody, it's buyer's journey pages don't link and do not have menu links to them. They only link to the action page, because you need to go through stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. Now, you could, as a marketer, you could literally create those pages wherever and however you want and link them to wherever. So if they're on an awareness page, it doesn't have to identify the site, and it's going to link to the consideration stage and then to the purchase stage, and those all link to Joe Blow's website action page. The buyer's journey pages are simply pages wherever you want them that are providing exactly what the user wants, and then are taking them in the end to a specific page to take action. So now, JB, you could take that information and put those pages wherever you wish and link them to, here's the final place where I want you to go. So you could do it that way for clients instead of messing within their site. But the idea is that you're still having all 3, 1, 2, 3 stages pointing to an action page. And for everybody else, that's inside your site, no menu items to those pages. Because if they're in your blog or any place else, JB, and they happen to find the consideration page and they weren't ready for it, they may just bounce. So you want those pages to be unlinked except to one another, and then to the action page. so that nobody gets to one of those pages when they're not in the stage that they found. You don't want them to find them except in the search engines. And then it's only going to come up because they searched a term that popped up that page. So in other words, what you're doing with the buyer journey pages, if they're done properly, is pre-qualifying the person, the visitor, so that they are going to the correct page. They are in and correct stage in which they find themselves. If they're in the consideration stage, they'll have a different prompt that they typed in. So they should find the consideration stage page of yours. Don't give them the awareness, because that's going to turn them back. Don't give them the purchase because they're not ready. So as you deal deeper and try to come up with another plan, you have to remember you can't make all 3 pages available to them at one time. If there is a way to get to them without going through the process, then you've done it wrong. Does that make more sense?
Yes, I got you. So that whatever stage they're at, you want them to go to that page,
Correct.
and then they continue from there.
Correct. And they only have one link to go to the next stage. They can't go back.
Well, Tom, you're a pretty smart fellow.
Oh, don't go that far, JB. Come on now.
Yeah, now they're going to tell me to leave, and then my head's going to get too big.
And we're all legend in our own mind, Tom. It's okay.
A legend in my mind, so it's only going to last for an hour, right? Because I'll forget.
That makes a lot of sense. That's pretty sweet, man.
So did you see the image that I sent across to everybody?
Yeah, I
Okay.
downloaded it.
So keep looking at that, and with any question that you have of how to connect anything, you're going to go, okay, well, so how do I? And you'll eventually get to the same place. You go, oh, I know how I could do that. Okay, there you go. For everybody else, it's just put them into your site like you would any other page. You just do not create a menu item for them. They will do their work because you're not expecting people to get to them. You don't want people to get to them except through the search engines. Which is kind of another thing, because you can look at your analytics and see how many people are actually finding those pages. That'll show you whether they are in a decent position or not in the search engine. I would say all of them should be localized. All 3 pages, no matter how many sets you create, localize them for some area that you service. Don't try to go national with anything.
Well, what I would look at is like, so if you take I like dealing with local service industry. I like local attorneys.
Mhm.
Okay. Except some, and like I don't deal with divorce attorneys. I like chiropractors. So, when you go set up a Google business page, it gives you a list. You could put the list of exact areas they wanted.
Mhm.
So that I would just work off of that list, because they usually do work a certain area, usually it's close to them, but then sometimes, like I got one roofer guy. He doesn't service the area that he's in that much because it's not the roofs are not high dollar value, and he prefers the high dollar value. So we kind of steer away from that. I mean, we've got it there, but all the marketing is geared toward the areas that it's going to make him the dollar amounts he wants to make. So that I would just run off of that. Does that make sense?
That's fine. You can target whatever that you wish. And that also means investigating how many people or who, you're looking to find how many people are searching that particular term that you want to target. And that may take some time because you're going, well, I want high-end purchasers. So what are the high-end people searching for? And that's going to take some time to drill down and go, aha, I finally found the term that is going to provide this guy with the traffic for those that are spending more. Okay.
Right.
There isn't any magic to say, oh, I got it. But you can use the magic AI to say, what are people of means searching for whatever the term is,
Right.
or new roofs in Idaho or whatever.
Right. I got
So
you. Good
you
info,
search.
man.
What's that?
That's a good info. That's pretty sweet. I like that.
Yeah, don't
Thank
say
you.
that again. Don't say that again. Everybody's going to start going, would you stop commenting or saying anything nice about him? Don't compliment him. Candace, you're asking, oh, Arthur must have replied to you saying, no, you don't want to take it. The question was, should call to action button on the consideration page take them to your contact info page on the website? There's a yes and no. It's yes only if that contact page is the action page, is the only action page that you want people to take. Now you can have as many as many action pages as you want in your site. But if one will suffice, because no matter what stage they're in, no matter what product or service they're doing, I just want them to do this one thing. Call. Okay. So yeah, that can go to the action page, which is your contact page, if that's the case. But if you're, Candace, if you're asking if you can also link to the contact page in addition to the event or the action page, no, don't do that. Whatever action you want them to take, there should be just that one page. Go to that page, take this action. And okay, she's thinking related searches. Yes, back to that, Jody, is pretty much anything you search in Google, just scroll down the page and look for those related search buttons. Sometimes I've seen it didn't say related searches, but it's the same color, it's the same oblong box with the search terms in it.
I found
You
it.
see
My
those enough
question,
time. Sorry.
my question was, I found it and I've been kind of playing with it when you guys were talking about other stuff, but the problem is that if I'm really specific and say Reading area in Shasta County, I pop up. But if I say near me versus being specific, all these other companies pop up above mine that aren't from the area.
Oh, that's because they're cheating.
That they're global companies that just farm out like to us. They don't even have cards. They just don't.
Because they're not being specific. That's another part of why Google is trying to do what they're doing.
Okay.
These people say that they're local to this. They're not. All they did was add that locale in the page 50 million times, so it comes up.
Right.
So it's going to take a while for Google to get that out of their algorithms and not pay attention to, well, okay, this guy is over density in this page just because he wants that page to come up.
Yeah.
And you want to just playing by the book is the right way to do it, because Google is making some major changes. So if Google is seeing you're playing the same game that these other yahoos did, who are not even local, then we're going to push you back 500 pages or whatever they want.
Okay.
Well,
So-
Yellow Pages used to do the exact same thing.
Yep.
If you remember Yellow Pages, they have a list of phone numbers, for like St. Louis area, if you need us in Fenton, if you need us in Afton, and all those phone numbers would come right to the same local number.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So Yellow Page would run that scam too,
There's a lot of people who run that scam. That's why Google is at this stage. You're going, buyer's journey. I don't want to hear about anything else. Buyer's journey pages, or never mind. Now, mind you, the buyer's journey pages should also have the correct optimization done to them. But you can do some fairly simple optimization and keyword density in there and title, H1 tag, that sort of thing, have all that in that buyer journey page. Really, you don't need to know a lot about SEO and say, well, I'm going to just do some basics. Google's looking for the information and see if it complies with the rules for that awareness stage or whatever stage it is. And if that one is done correctly, even if it's not the world's best SEO, it should work its way up to the top of the search engines for that local search. You will find that local searches are not as well optimized as national because they don't have the competition in local stuff. In national, you're dealing with millions, if not billions, of competitors.
Right.
Philip,
With bigger pockets.
yeah, that's true, with deeper pockets.
Yeah, that's why I try to tell people is like, don't look at ad space as, you have to really drill down on your ads because you can't compete with a national company spending $8 million a year on Google ads.
Correct.
There is no competition. You're going to get the very bottom of the barrel, and those are not the kind of clients you want.
And I can tell you that I was asked the question about, well, wait a minute, you're saying that we can't get this, we can't do that, and these pages are going to go away. If a business has enough money, Google loves money. So if they're paying for a lot of ads, if they're doing a lot of marketing outside, and their SEO is terrible, and they refuse to do anything with the buyer's journey page, Google's still going to leave them at the top of the search engine. Why is that?
Money.
They've got deep pockets and they use those pockets. We don't have that.
But a lot of times, Tom, they're not competitive anyway, is what I'm finding.
Well, in my mind, when you say something like that, it's people go to that site and try to get that information that they wanted and bounce because it's not there.
Right.
Because they immediately got hit with, oh, buy this, buy that. Oh, nope, that's not the site that I want. So they spend all this money to be at the top of the search engines and then shove the visitors away.
Right.
They'll figure it out eventually.
I think Google's going to fairness this out. They're going to shove the hungry hippos out of there.
Except that the hungry hippos pay Google, so Google's not going to get rid of them.
Yeah, but even then, I look at like one HVAC guy. I got him. This is years back, but I got him about 20 really good. I call buyer back in the day. We called them buyers intent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got him about 20, and then he was up at number 3 and 4 of those. I couldn't. There's nothing I could do to get him to 1. I tried everything, and it's because the big boys had the money.
Mm-hmm.
But even him having those 20 up at 2 and 3, what we focused on was getting him customers. And I just let you know, I hate customers. I prefer the word clients. Customers buy bubble gum at the local convenience store. Clients are for life. But to get him the type clients that appreciated him, 1, being local. 2, appreciate him as a small business owner, and when you got those, 1, his negative comments just plummeted because he was getting people that were good people, and so with that, he started getting more 5-star reviews. With those 5-star reviews, he eventually started bumping up to number 2.
Right.
And getting more. So it was a good cycle,
Philip, you asked something in chat. You said journalists weekly column after proofreading to place it in Chat GPT or to read it and possibly enhance it to make it better. if you scroll back up to pretty much the beginning of the meeting, that's exactly what I did with one of the prompts that I provided, was to say, is this a good article for the awareness stage? And you can change that to consideration stage. So you can check each one of your articles by just feeding it back. What you would do, can you see, is this a good article? Do you see that in chat?
Yeah.
To the top? Okay.
Mhm.
After the end quote, put a colon, a space, and then paste your entire article into the prompt.
Wait, can you repeat that, please?
Put your prompt in there, and at the end of the prompt, put a colon, space, then paste your article into that prompt window.
Can you define a prompt? Is that just a key search word?
It's where you type into AI, you type whether it's a question or something that you're telling it. Or whatever it is.
Got it.
You're tickling
Very
it.
good.
Sorry, what was
I
that?
said you're tickling it. You're tickling it to get it going.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, I have 127,000 subscribers, so I'm trying to take my column to another level where they forward that to other people that they know, which I think they do anyway.
That's a good thing, but it doesn't hurt to put the buyer's journey pages in something where you're not touching, but it is related to you and you want to get some more attention. And you can
Yeah, I'm
put it.
trying to connect
wherever
with
you're
sellers though, more than buyers.
What's
A lot
that?
of buyers. I'm trying to connect more with sellers than I am with buyers because they've kind of left the market, a lot of them, because of interest rates.
Your terms are going to fit that. So it's whatever term that you're targeting.
Right. It's true.
It's related to your business, whether you're targeting buyers, sellers, or people who just buy widgets. It doesn't make any difference. You find out what terms they're searching. That's the one that you're targeting.
Got it. Got it. All right. Very good. Thank you.
Sure. And there's, once these pages are out floating around, do these pages need to get updated, maintained in any way?
You talking to me?
No, there is another question
Oh.
Candace was asking. No, you can, but you don't need to. As long as your site is updated, there's nothing wrong with those pages. It's still a question. It's still a statement that people are asking. If down the road you find that those pages, which had worked their way up to the top of the search engine, are now falling down, that should indicate to you, and you can go into the Google Planner and find this out, if that particular term now has a percentage that it has declined in searches year over year or for the month. The Google Planner will tell you that. So if your searches have declined, if you see that your page is slipping down and your visitors are slipping down, time to change. Find out what's related to that term that people are searching. And maybe you can find a term that is up a certain percentage for the month over month or year over year. And write an article about that. I wouldn't throw that article away though. I wouldn't throw, even if it's slipping down, leave that one there. Add more. And I can't say this enough times. The more pages you have in your site, the more Google pays attention to your site. So if you had several thousand pages, Google loves that. Pages and posts. I did have somebody ask me about that. I don't think that I would make a post for the buyer's journey stuff. And of course, people with WordPress are going to say, but they're the same thing. They're still paid. Arthur, correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't WordPress treat that post differently?
Right. Yeah. Posts are more for like archives, and your pages are more dynamic. In other words, what you put on a page doesn't change a whole lot, and your pages are defined more. So if you have a blog and you got posts, you have several things linking to it other than just pages. Whereas if you have a page and you don't have it as a blog and not list it in the menu, then the only way to access that page is through search,
The search engines.
right?
Yeah.
Right, so will blog posts work? Well, yeah, they will, and you should include them, you know, in a typical kind of buyer's journey. But if you want something specific in a buyer's journey, then pages would be the way to go.
And I'm going to take that one step further because he's right, but to keep you from getting confused, just use pages. Do not use posts. If you are so well versed in Google's SEO, Google's buyer's journey, and the knowledge about how WordPress works, fine. But if you're not an expert in all those things, just use pages.
Yeah, because you can always link blog posts to the pages.
Yep.
So, I mean, you could try it. I would say, well, that would involve A/B testing and stuff like that, you know, but you could try it both ways. You could create a buyer's journey through your blog, using your blog as the awareness consideration, and then a individual page for your call to action. And you can create 3 individual pages in the same process. You know, just, I mean, you can try both and see look at your analytics and see which one works best. You know, but when I think of a buyer's journey, I think of pages and not posts.
So in other words, get your pages. Concentrate on pages. If you want to experiment, that's secondary, and make the posts an experiment for you. But make sure that your pages are done properly.
Yeah.
So
Everybody,
get those first.
y'all have a good one. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks,
Okay.
JB. Hope to see you back here.
Absolutely. I'll be back.
Great.
And that's a threat, and that's definitely a threat. So.
Take
All right,
it
guys.
easy. Thank you.
Have an awesome one. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions before we go? Confused as always, I take it, right? I hope we worked out a lot of the confusion though. Don, how'd that come out for you? I didn't hear from you today.
Good, now you can hear me. I'm learning. It feels like I stepped in the middle of a 303 and I needed a 101, but we're going to get there.
No, actually, we kind of jump back and forth, but I'm trying to keep it at a 101 basis, class 101. And even though maybe next week we'll get into something that sounds like it's more, I try to bring it back and say it's still in that first stage. I don't want you to feel like, and I don't want you to think that this is getting so difficult to do. That's why I keep going back and saying it's just 3 pages. Get those 3 pages done for one term. And then once you've done it and you've checked with AI, once you've done all those things and you go, you know what, that isn't that difficult. The most difficult part that I think people are having is getting AI to print out what you want. Stick with the prompts that I provided in chat. Then you can move forward and try to experiment to see if you can make it better. But you'll have a fallback because you know it works.
I think what'd be
How's that
helpful
for you?
for me if we had an actual example of a awareness page, you know, one that's written out in front of us and shows what it needs to do and show how that leads to the consideration and to the action. I think a visual would help me a lot. Or if you can refer me to someplace where this may be written down, I can take a look at it. But I'm understanding the process. I understand what's going on here. Now I'm saying, show me one, so I know what they look like.
I've thought about that very thing, and because they're not supposed to be menu item, it makes it a bit difficult to find the pages to be able to show here's how they work. But I was thinking maybe I'd set my site up with one or two of the groups of pages. I have the pages written, I just haven't had time to be able to put them in. But if I can do that in time for our next meeting, then I have a method that will allow me to get to the consideration page without a menu item. And then you can see how you walk through each of them.
That'd be great. Thank you.
You betcha. Well, that's it. Jody, do you have parting words?
Thank you. I wrote notes. Well, and what I started doing, Tom, when you and Arthur are talking, is I actually minimize the window and I listen to you guys, but I'm also doing the stuff you tell me to look at, so it's fresh in my mind, and then making notes so that I already have a lot of the information. Now I can go back through it and figure out how to tighten up some of the language. And so I try
There
to
you
actually take steps while you're teaching it,
That's true.
right?
However you learn, that's what it takes.
Right.
And for anybody and everybody, these videos go up in YouTube usually Thursday or Friday after the meeting. So they are all there. You'll find a tremendous load of them in YouTube right now, right here.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Arthur.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys.
Have a good day.
You too. I'll see you
Bye.
next week. Bye. Thanks, Philip. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next time.